Hi there, this is John Highman from Commercial Real Estate Online. Welcome to the program. This is the podcast show where I like to share plenty of tips, tools and ideas in commercial real estate brokerage around the world. In this podcast show, I make sure that I can give you those particular ideas that you can implement in your sales, leasing or property management business across office, industrial and retail property. Now, before I go into the topic today, don't forget to visit our website, which is commercial-realestate-training.com. At the website, you will get plenty of ideas, plenty of tips to get your business, let's say, more active in this market. And it is a great market because it's changing, growing and thriving. It just needs new strategies, new approaches and lots of activity. And so for today's program, I'm going to drill down into one particular topic, and that is the cold calling process. You can call it prospecting calls, whatever you want to do. But the fact of the matter is that lifting the telephone to find clients and prospects is a big part of growing your market share quickly, effectively and directly. In fact, if you can set aside 2 or 3 hours each day before you do anything else to making calls, you will find that your business will grow and thrive quite substantially from that which you had before. So it's a skill, it's a practice, and there are some ideas here in this program to help you. So let's get into this particular audio. Grab that coffee and your notebook, and we'll go through the ideas here to help you with your prospecting calls. So let's look at it. What I've got here is 6 particular ways to fast track your cold calling process. 6 ways, 6 particular strategies you can bring into your business to help you grow and thrive using the telephone as a leverage tool to find new people. And that's what the game is all about today in commercial real estate, finding the new people that need your help. Be it in sales or leasing, it doesn't really matter. The telephone is now your leverage point to grow your business. Now, of course, in brokerage, in agency, cold calling can be a frustration if you do not set some rules and stick to the process. And one big word that comes through all of that is habits. You actually need to develop a habit to take you forward with that, a habit to drive your momentum forward, because initially the whole thing is a bit of a struggle. But once you get through that struggle process, everything takes shape. When you set that habit in your business every day, things get a lot better. So what is the habit? It's just a matter of lifting the telephone to an organized system. Over time, you build up your numbers of the people that you're talking to, and of course that then leads to meeting opportunities or conversations that lead to future listings over time. Frequent ongoing connections in an organized way will allow you to find the right people in the right way. The real issue here is that the call process can help you as an agent or a broker build your market share quite quickly, effectively and directly. But it does take that effort, that specific effort, and those habits. It is the focus to develop on your part of an agent or a broker in your location. So take charge of this new skill, this new strategy, and put that strategy into your working day. It's not a random thing. It's a very specific thing. It should happen at the beginning of the day. So let's look at setting some rules and the system behind a good cold call prospecting model for commercial real estate agents. So there are some issues and some special strategies to think about. So let's go into them. Number 1. Knowing what to say and how to say it will require some practice and skill on your part. The calls that you make should not be a pitch for your services. That's not what it's about. It is simply a conversation to understand if the person has an interest, a need, or some sort of future challenge that they want some help with. It is simply too difficult to pitch in commercial real estate agency across the telephone, because the business people that we talk to or the investors, they know all about the game anyway. They don't want to be pitched to. That doesn't work. You should be making your calls to connect with a number of people each day to see if they have that need, or interest now or in the future. And that is only a conversation. So what do you say? It's very simple. You only need some sort of opening statement, maybe 1 or 2 sentences. Beyond that, it's the conversation. So here are some ideas, some very simple script ideas to get you started. Oh, good morning, Mr. Brown. It's John Smith from Acme Commercial. Please pardon the intrusion. Could I take just a moment of your time? Look, thanks for that, and I will be brief. The nature of the call is commercial real estate, particularly in helping investors and business owners locally when it comes to their property interests, challenges, or opportunities. And that's the reason for my call today. Tell me, are you a person who gets involved with commercial real estate, office, industrial, or retail from an investment, a sales, or a leasing perspective? Okay, so that's the very basic script. Beyond that, everything is a conversation. You only need something like that to help you get into the conversation, to get the flow going. So practice that, write it down. They can be some words that you can use immediately. So let's go to number 2. In making the call, your ultimate goal should be to create a meeting with the right people. And who are those right people? They are the ones that do want to talk about commercial real estate, industrial or office or retail. To a degree, you should be qualifying them somewhat as part of the call because you don't want to meet with them if they don't have any interest at all. There is indeed no point in meeting with someone that has no long-term benefit for you or interest in commercial, industrial or retail property. So let's go to number 3. The trust factor in commercial real estate is quite important. The cycle of commercial real estate ownership and occupancy is long. It can take months, if not years, to connect with the right people and build the right levels of trust to go to the meeting phase of connecting with them. So recognize that you will be talking to the same people regularly over time. That is a conversation, that is a repeat process, and that's why you need some sort of database to help you do that. You should be talking to the right people at least once every 90 days. And of course, sending them emails if they have some sort of challenge or need that you can help them with. And then, of course, you get the meeting. So it's a bit of a formula. That's how you get the whole thing started. But that's why you need 2 or 3 hours every day to get the momentum up. It's not a matter of talking to 5 people in 3 hours. That's not what it's about. It's about making about 50 calls in 3 hours. And from those 50 calls, you'll get through to maybe 20 to 25 people. You may also be leaving some voice messages, and that's okay. But of the 20 to 25 people that you do connect with, you'll probably have 2 or 3 or 4, maybe even 5 people that have a need or an interest potentially now or in the future. So that formula is strong. It's good. That's how you get meetings up and running pretty quickly in your brokerage business. But behind all of that, here is that word again, habits. So you've got to have that habit in your working day, Monday to Friday, to spend 2 or 3 hours on the phone talking or attempting to talk to 50 people. Let's go to item number 4. Every agent should merge new calls into their prospecting model. Every day they should be making more calls to new people that they have not connected with before. That, of course, is the pipeline process. That's how you grow your pipeline over time. And at the bottom of the pipeline, people will fall out the other end simply because there's no value there for you and you can't really help them. So the process has to be a daily habit if it is to be successful. That is where the discipline side of things starts to take shape and comes into play. It does take real effort and skill on your part to get good at making lots of calls to new people and to talk to them about property issues in a relevant and direct way. So in simple terms, you must practice some of that. And you can practice before you leave home in the morning. Practice the simple 2 or 3 sentences at the beginning of the conversation. That's all you need. You don't need anything more complex than that. And no matter what the person says to you, when you open the conversation, you can simply continue the conversation, terminate it, ask questions, or extend into different ideas and issues. The easiest and best way to do that practice side of things is first thing in the morning when you first arise. Get used to hearing your own voice. Get used to using those opening statements. It's quite easy, really. It just takes a little bit more discipline and a different approach to what you're doing. So let's go down into item number 5. There is a good degree of research behind making the right calls. Some research can take days or weeks to find the right person, and that research may involve looking through the property records, maybe even talking to adjoining business owners, or maybe talking to the businesses in occupancy as tenants. To find the right people, it's a research factor that you bring into your business day. Now, you can do the research at the end of the day when things are not pressurized with meetings and that sort of thing, or even each evening. You can be using the internet, the business telephone books, and other resources to find people to call and to talk to about commercial property. And commercial, of course, is office, industrial and retail, and it's also sales and leasing requirements and opportunities. So look at the research as an ongoing thing. You can get organized within that. Your research can be in a spreadsheet, it can be in some sort of standard form or document that you write down the information that you gather as you move through it. Eventually, you'll have enough information in your research to make the call. Let's go to item number 6. Each day, I said before that you should be developing and devoting about 2 hours to the call contact process. It's all about prospecting, research, conversations. And the mindset behind that is simply this. You are connecting with the people to see if they have a need or an interest. When you understand that you have some real value in what you do and say and the services that you do offer to the business owners and the investors locally, the call conversation gets a lot easier. You're not pitching. That's not what it's about. All you're doing is connecting with the person and asking questions. Do they want help? Do they want information? Is there something there that they want to know about? That's it. In the time of making your calls, 2 to 3 hours each day, I said before that you should be able to reach out to maybe 20 odd people out of, say, 50 outbound calls. So that's 20 good conversations with people. And on average, you will usually find that there'll be 2, 3, or even 5 people in that group of 20 that have some sort of interest as a buyer, a seller, an investor, maybe a landlord that needs leasing help. That's where the calls drive your business forward. But that is where you need that ultimate discipline, that habit, that process, that personal skill base to make the calls. The calls allow you to create a reasonable conversation with the right people. And those people that don't want to talk to you, that is just fine. You thank them for the simple conversation today and then you move on. So I go back to the sheer fact of opportunity. From the calls that you make, the conversations that you create, the numbers do work something like what I mentioned before, and I will repeat it. 50 outbound calls. Some people you will not reach. That is fine. You can call them on a different day. Of those people you reach, probably 20 odd people, you'll get maybe 2 or 3 people that have an interest or a need in commercial real estate. From that point of opportunity, there are things there for you to focus on. Another comment I should make here is that some people you will not reach and some people you'll find that you've got to leave voice messages for. Now that is okay, but don't make a long story out of a voice message. Keep it very simple and say something like this. Oh, good morning, Mr. Brown. It's John Smith from Acme Commercial. Pardon the intrusion. The nature of the call is commercial real estate. I'm sorry that I've missed you today at this point in time. I will call you back later, or you can call me on 899-6352. Thank you for listening to the message. I look forward to talking to you soon. That's simple. It's so simple. Now, don't expect that everybody will call you back from a voice message, because most of the voice messages that you do leave will not be returned. And don't stress about that, because that is the way it is. So all you do is you approach those people later in 2 or 3 days, or maybe 2 weeks, whatever it is. The next time you call them, they probably will answer the phone, because they'll be in a different situation, and you can then take the conversation further. There is a threshold, of course, as to the number of times you try and reach someone, and it's usually 4 or 5 outbound calls over a period of time. So if you find that you're making those 4 or 5 outbound calls and you're not getting through to the person, you simply drop them from your list and you move on. That is where a simple template, some sort of simple form, can keep you on track for those 4 or 5 calls. So you write down the name, the phone number. If the email is there, you'll write that down as well. And then you tick a box every time you try and contact them. So after 5 ticks or 5 boxes being ticked on that form, you know that you've tried enough to get through to that person. So the logic is you simply bin it and move on, because you cannot try to contact the same people that may be wasting your time. So what I've done here is shared a lot of information to you about making calls. And I just want to recap on the 6 key issues here for you to think about. Number 1 is knowing what to say. Keep it simple. Use the simple script I gave you. Number 2, make sure you know the ultimate goal of making the call. It's usually creating questions to find out if the person has a need or an interest. Number 3 is establishing trust over time. That can be multiple calls over a period of a year. Number 4 is all about merging new calls into your prospecting model, so you're talking to new people every day. At least half of your calls should be to new people. Number 5 is all about the research behind making the calls. You do need to create research. And lastly, number 6, devote about 2 or 3 hours a day to the call process. So all of those issues are not difficult to understand. They are, however, difficult to implement, simply because there is a habit building process within them. The top agents do these things. The top agents understand how to be disciplined and focused in what they're doing every day. It does take some real focus, some real momentum, some real habits on the part of an agent or a salesperson to get all of this underway, to get the implementation of the process into their diary, something they stick to regardless of anything else that's going on. So, are you able to take on the challenge? Are you able to shape your activities and grow your business through real discipline, real effort, and some definite habits? When you do all of this correctly, the property market will open up, and that is exactly what you want, with lots of leads and lots of new clients. And so that is the program for today. I deliberately focused down into the cold calling process, and call it what you like. Maybe it's warm calls, maybe it's outbound proactive prospecting, whatever you call it, it doesn't really matter. But understand it for what it is. It is an opportunity to grow your business over time. Take on board the strategies here, shape them into your diary, and definitely deliver on the process of challenge, change, and opportunity for yourself. So in closing, I do thank you for listening to the podcast show. Whilst you're here, of course, subscribe so you get the other programs as we publish them online. Make sure that you visit our website at commercial-realestate-training.com and get the other ideas there to help you grow your business over time. Commercial real estate is an industry with lots of opportunity, lots of challenges, of course, but lots of opportunity. And that's what you need to remember. So in moving forward, don't forget to drive your business forward, get some skill and development behind that, and make sure you are thriving as an agent in your location. This real estate market is different. It is a challenge. It's a changing market. It's a massive opportunity for you to get into today. This is John Hyman signing off for now. I'll catch you again very soon online. Catch you soon.